What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of the HMA Fantasy Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Jacob Hughley, and I am joined again today by my main guys, Seth Gross, Earl from the Open Mat, and Jack Mueller. How are you doing today, Jack?
Doing well. Just ready to talk some wrestling. Just watched some crazy matches, so I'm fired up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Before we jumped on here, they got me to watch the Caldwell-Lang match from 2007, and that's absolutely wild. I would definitely suggest you go watch that if anybody's listening.
If you have a minute and 40 seconds of your time, it is worth it.
Absolutely wild. Well, anyways, let's keep moving on. Seth, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty well, man. I'm extremely sore today. So I've been doing a lot of running and calisthenics, and I just lifted for the first time in a while yesterday, and I'm feeling it big time today. But besides that, I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. I'm excited to get going, man. This thing's going to be a lot of fun. But how are you doing today, Earl?
Can't complain. Feeling good. Ready to talk some wrestling.
Did you get picked up by the Washington Nats?
No, unfortunately, that was about an order I placed. I forgot about it, and I saw my phone ring with their number yesterday. I was like, what in the world is that?
Very cool. Yeah, I liked how I commented on it. It was like, what's that about? And I get a poll back. It's are they calling me up? Am I going to be a hat model? All these other kind of things. I definitely voted hat model. I think that was the one to pick.
Yeah, that's ended up being my trademark, I guess. I didn't necessarily intend for that to happen, but
yeah.
I know Coach Bono tried to convince me it was a Wisconsin hat at one point.
Yeah, man. But all right. Well, I mean, we can go ahead and get into this thing. Before we start, I know that we usually have one more person on here with us. Sam and Jude are both doing wrestling things and are very busy, but we do have a special guest today, and nobody knows except for me. So this one's going to be fun. So I'm going to go ahead and let him in, and you guys will have a fun surprise. So here he comes.
Yes.
All right. So Mr. Sam Hazewinkle, I don't know if you can hear us yet. We'll probably have to check and make sure the audio is all good, but can you hear us, Sam? Maybe not.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Nope, not yet.
I can't hear you.
Oh, man. All right, well, we'll give him a second to get working on that, and we'll just go ahead and start moving a little bit. As soon as we get him in, we'll take a second and talk to him. But can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So as he gets that set up, we'll go ahead and start talking a little bit. So we're going to be getting into the next quadrant of duels today. The first one's going to be 2013 versus 2011. And then we're going to drop down and do 2012 versus 2007. Sam, can you hear us? Nope. Oh, it looked like it. But anyways, the how we've gotten to this point is on the other side. We finished the first half of the round of 16, and we had 2005 taking the win over 2008, 22-10. 2015 took the win over 2006, 21-13. And 2018 took the win over 2009, 22-9. 2016 took the win over 2010, 16-15. That was an absolute barn burner. And man, I'm excited to get this going. But I'm trying to make sure that we can get in contact with Sam. I can see him down here. I can hear him, but he can't hear us. I told him maybe try some headphones.
Dude, speaking of sore, man, I wrestled for the first time yesterday, and I wrestled with this kid that like I love him, but he's kind of like spazzy in terms of just clubbing super hard. And my neck is destroyed right now. I'm hurting so bad. And And we so first time back in a while, it's like we started like drilling, and then it turned into a spar, and then he was like, all right, first to 5 takedowns. And I was like, all right, let's do this. and
then the clubs came even harder.
Yeah, exactly. And then by that time the mats were just drenched, and I slipped and he fell on my knee. And
Hello.
And
hey, can you hear us?
Cut bad right over his eye, just gushing blood.
Oh, man, why is it that every time you get out of wrestling for just a little bit, it's not even that long, and you go back into it, it's always the neck, always. Like, I don't know, nothing else is like that bad, but yeah, same thing. Every single year, getting back into wrestling. Like, I'm a coach. I'm not even going like you guys are. And yeah, I mean, it's wild. My neck, I can't move my neck for 2 weeks. But can you hear us now, Sam?
I can. I had a
Awesome.
second string plugged in, and it stole my hearing for some reason.
You're good. No worries.
I'm not computer savvy, I guess. What's up, fellas?
What's
Nothing
up?
much.
Morning.
Yeah.
Right.
How you doing today?
I am doing better. I won against the computer. That's always a good day. No Terminator's going to take me out.
Awesome. I know that this is going to be fun, man. We've been wanting to get you on for a little while. You've been following us, and we really appreciate you tuning in and not being too mad at us. But
I'm not a sore loser at all.
nah, it's all for fun, man. It was a good time.
Absolutely, it's for fun.
Hey, you're still the best and never winner in my mind.
I appreciate that, Jack. Good man. Us little guys do stick together.
Yeah,
Us
sure.
Like heavyweights. You always have the little guy with the big guy.
Makes no sense.
We can pick on everybody else. It allows us to pick on all the other weights, and then we hide behind the heavyweight.
Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah, you have to. I love your guys' intro, though. I was sad I didn't get to hear it.
Yeah.
It's the best intro on podcasts.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. You talking about the music at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah. My little brother does a bunch of, he composes, songs and stuff like that. And that actually wasn't his, but one of his good friends. So that's pretty cool that I got to use that. I like it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But
agreed.
All right, we'll go ahead and get into it. We brought you on to talk wrestling, so might as well get talking some wrestling.
Let's do it.
Sweet. So let's go. The first duel that we're going to talk about today is going to be 2013 versus 2011. This thing is absolutely stupid. I don't know if you guys have looked at this much, but like some of these matchups, I don't know. I started looking at them and my head hurt and I couldn't pick. And so I was like, all right, I'll just wait till later and it'll be a spur of the moment decision.
Yeah. And the fact that 3 guys show up twice, pretty crazy.
Yeah. We got Jordan Oliver, Kyle Dake, and Quentin Wright all in here twice. And they're obviously on different teams.
Ways.
I think both the Hodge winners are against each other here too. Burroughs and Dake are the Hodge winners, I believe.
Yeah.
Man, this is going to be crazy. I don't think that it's probably a question. I think we're probably going to end at 165, right?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Awesome. So before we jump into 174 and kick it off, let's just roll through our lineups real quick on either side. And 2013, who has 2013?
I
Earl?
do. Yeah.
Awesome. Earl, just tell us a little bit about these guys on the lineup for 2013.
All right. You got 6 undefeated NCAA champions here. You got Jesse Delgado, 125, 133, Logan Stieber, 141, Kendrick Maple, 149, Jordan Oliver, 157, Derek St. John, 165, Kyle Dake, 174, Chris Perry, 184, Ed Ruth, 197, Quentin Wright, and heavyweight Tony Nelson.
Stacked. All right. The other side, 2011.
Yeah, that's me. I get Anthony Robles, Jordan Oliver, Kellen Russell, Kyle Dake, Bubba Jenkins, Jordan Burroughs, John Reeder, Quentin Wright, Dustin Kilgore, and Zach Ray.
And these are two stacked lineups. I mean, this is easily probably the craziest duel that we've done out of any of these projects we've done. I think this is really going to be awesome. So we'll start off at 174. Chris Perry versus John Reeder. Man, go ahead and kick us off a little bit about Chris Perry, Earl.
All right, this is junior year Chris Perry. He is a two-time All-American now, was third as a sophomore, first as a junior. He beat in the quarterfinals Nick Heflin, semis Robert Kokesh, finals Matt Brown. Each of those matches went to sudden victory or tiebreakers. He also won the Southern Scuffle that year, beating Logan Storley, and he was 36-2 for the season.
Man. No, the other end of things, he was your coach, and now he's your co-coach, I guess. John Reeder. Tell us about John Reeder, Seth.
Yeah, so I guess I might know this guy a little bit, but John Reeder here at this time. This is his senior year, three-time All-American, one-time national champ. His senior year, he bonused in 27 out of his 38 matches. And he's on fire his senior year. I think he's also the year he didn't place. He was the 1 seed and ended up not placing, but he had an amazing career. And he's John Reeder's famous. Everybody knows his picture of kind of his head wrap going on and the big old flex. And so that was at that national title he won. And so that's John Reeder.
Man, if there's one picture on the internet that you can look at and just immediately be like, I want to run through a wall right now, that might be it.
Yeah, I think he's got one in his office, and every time I see it, it's so cool.
Yeah, you see that picture, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go run 5 miles and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But, yeah, I mean.
It's his personality.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's always fired up, man, always.
Yeah, so – how are we thinking with this one, maybe stylistically? I'm interested to hear what some people got to say. Sam, do you have a take on this one?
Oh, man, they were both good, and I agree with the stylistic. You have the technician versus the goer, and I'm leaning toward Reeder right now. I'm curious to hear both sides a little more, but I know growing up, my dad always said, when all else is conditioning's number one. Conditioning's what's going to win it. And you come down to both of them on a good year, and I'll take the conditioning guy.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that next. I think, he was just a brute that year, man. He was just mean out there on the mat, hand fight dudes to death, keep going, didn't stop. And I mean, still to this day, this dude's out there scrapping with all the college guys and just annihilating them in the room all the time. And he hasn't changed a bit, but this guy was unbelievable, fun to watch. And he was really, I think it was underrated how good he was on top with his claw series, different things. And I'm going to give it to Reeder.
Yeah. So for me, the thing that kind of pops in my head when I'm deciding here is trying to determine which year Chris Perry this is. And I think the answer kind of differs for me depending on which one it is. And this one is the one that he beat Matt Brown in the finals, right? So this is his first national title. With that being said, I think personally I would have leaned more Chris Perry if it was the second title when he beat Howe. But since it's the first one, I think I'm also going to lean John Reeder on this. But I'm interested to hear everybody else. So Earl, what are you thinking?
Yeah, man. Reeder had a close match with I think Chris Henrik in the semifinals, but other than that, he was pretty dang dominant, throughout the tournament. Perry was kind of getting by these guys, and I don't know, maybe he had a deeper weight class with all these Big Ten guys that were always there at 174 at that point. But they both were kind of monsters on the mat. Seth mentioned with the claw for Reeder, and Perry would just grind guys into the mat, the leg ride. But I do think that Reeder's pace would probably be the difference, and I'm going to take him.
Jack, what are you feeling?
I got Reeder as well. I think I was thinking, and it was the Andrew Howe year, and feel like Reader and Howe kind of have similar styles, similar body builds. So I think I'd have gone Perry there, but a younger Perry. John Reader was a tough guy. I'm sure Seth has a boatload of stories about him, but I got one, so I'm just gonna say it
Let's
because I
hear
love
it.
my stories.
John Reader stories.
When Keegan was in college, my brother, he said there was only one guy that he was ever afraid of wrestling, and that was John Reader, because this guy would warm up before his matches for like 3 hours straight. And it was like terrifying to Keegan. He was like, if this guy can warm up for 3 hours and then go out and wrestle as hard as he does, like he's a psychopath. Like I don't want to deal with that.
He's still a wild man. He's still waking up like right now with everything going on. This dude's waking up at like 5 a.m., getting his workout in, freaking gets on a call, gets another workout in. This dude works out like freaking 4 times a day. And this dude is unreal, man.
Yeah.
Still different for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, like you're saying, I think it does make a difference in the year for Chris Perry. I know I talk about it kind of all the time, but I love Ryan Warner's podcast, Wrestling Saved My Life, and Chris Perry was on, and that might actually be my favorite podcast of any of all time. I loved listening to it, but when I looked at this match, the first thing that kind of went through my head was listening to Chris Perry himself talked about when he won this title. It was kind of like, he was training hard, and obviously this was the goal, but it was almost like it was kind of on autopilot for him. And he just kind of went out there and did his thing, and it happened. And whereas the next year when he had Andrew Howe, it was kind of like almost a Vision Quest kind of deal. Like the dude was not going to lose, was not going to be denied. He had something to like really push him and like drive him. And that's why I think it's a little bit different for me there. But John Reader wins the match either way. And we will move on to 184 pounds, where we have a battle of Nittany Lions, Ed Ruth versus Quentin Wright. This one had to go down in the practice room about every day there for a span of a couple of years. But we'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about these guys, and we'll kick it off with Ed Ruth.
All right, so this is Ed Ruth's junior year. So he's a 3-time All-American, 2-time NCAA champion. He beat in the quarterfinals Josh Einen of Nebraska 11-1, Steve Bozak, the returning champion, 4-1 in the semis, and then Robert Hamlin 12-4 in the finals. Hamlin was a runner-up, I think, in 2011 as well, losing to Wright. Ruth had a 68-match winning streak at the end of this year, and he also won his 3rd Southern Scuffle title.
Not bad. On the other end of things, Seth, tell us about Quentin Wright in 2011.
Yep. So Quentin Wright was a sophomore in 2011. So he was his freshman year. He wasn't a starter originally. Whoever was the starter ended up getting injured. He stepped in and got the job done. All-American as a freshman, won it his 2nd year. And this is the year he beat Hamlin in the finals, and then he beat Grant Gambrill in the semis. So this is his sophomore season.
Awesome. I mean, I'm interested to hear what you guys got to say about this one, but I mean, I think that for me, it's definitely Ed Ruth for me. He's just generational talent, one of the best to ever do it. I don't want to say he was kind of like outshined, because he obviously wasn't, but the reason he doesn't have a Hodge is because David Taylor was there at the same time and won the Hodge the year they were both just incredible. I mean, they're both incredible for several years, but I think just Ed Ruth is just one of the best to ever do it, and I'm definitely going to go Ed Ruth. But I'll kick it to Jack. Let's hear what do you got to say?
Whenever I think of Ed Ruth, I think the only other athlete that I can compare to him is like Magic Johnson, and how smooth he was, and how just like, I mean, if you think of Ed Ruth, you just think of that misdirection and people falling on their face. He gets in on legs without guys touching him. Just something else to watch. He was just magic, really, really inspiring to watch. So technical, so smooth. I got Ruth by bonus here. I got him by a major.
Yeah, I think I could be on with that. Real quick, did you just compare a wrestler to a basketball player?
Yeah, I did.
That's
And
a sin.
I'm not shamed.
We'll skate on past that one.
I like it. The Magic Johnson of wrestling.
He's the Magic Johnson of wrestling.
Hey,
He is so smooth.
hey,
So
call your
technical.
shot. All right, Earl, what are you thinking?
Yeah, this year when Quentin Wright won, he was really beat up earlier in the year. He had a lot of shoulder injuries, which led to a bunch of losses and stuff. Even I think he had the big shoulder wrap in the NCAA tournament. So I don't know. I don't see anybody staying within a. I don't want to say anybody, but I'll say I don't think Wright stays within major decision of Ed Ruth at this point.
Yeah. Sam, what do you think about these guys here?
Yeah, I was going to compare him to Jaden Cox. I thought they wrestled both kind of overlooked for how good they were. But Quentin Wright, you can't ever count that guy out either. He just found a way. Speaking of overlooked, Quentin Wright, I felt like was overlooked every year and found his way back every year. That said, I got Ed Ruth winning it. I wasn't thinking by a major, but I forgot Quentin Wright was hurt. If there was a time Ed Ruth would do it, that would be it.
Yeah, for sure. And Seth, what are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm on board. Bonus points for Ed Ruth in the match.
All right, so Ed Ruth by major. Sounds good to me. Cool. So we got a major decision for Ed Ruth over Quentin Wright, and we will move on to see yet again Quentin Wright in a different year, different team. But the 2013 Quentin Wright versus 2011 Dustin Kilgore. This one's fun to talk about as well because we have actually seen this match. Not only have we seen it, but it was a national final. But obviously these two different years, it wasn't this year, or it was 2 different years. So fun stuff to talk about. But 2013 Quentin Wright, let us know a little bit about where he was at in 2013, Earl.
All right, so this was his only year at 197. He went 32-0 in the NCAAs. He pinned Scott Schiller in the quarters. He beat Matt Wilps of Pitt in tiebreakers in the semis, then beat Kilgore 8-6 in the finals. This was his 4th time AAing. He went 6-1, 2-1, and he was 116-23 for his career.
All right, on the flip side, Dustin Kilgore, Seth.
So this is Dustin Kilgore's. He had kind of weird. Did he do his red shirt late or middle of his career or something?
Yeah, I think this was an Olympic red shirt in 2012 he took.
Yeah, that's right. So this is the year he won nationals. He was the 4 seed going in, and he knocked off Cam Simez in a crazy match, 10-9 in the semifinals, and went on to win it. I think he was a 2-time AA, or was he a 2-time champ at this point?
No, he had just won it once.
Or 2-time All-American.
2-time All-American.
Yeah, so he's 2-time All-American, and then this is the year he beat Cam Simez.
Yeah. For me, I mean, it's even with the years, I don't really think that makes a difference because, 2013, we actually saw this match in the finals. Quentin Wright kind of picked him apart, just underhooks for days. And, 2011, Kilgore did win the championship, but he also, took an Olympic red shirt in 2012. You got to imagine he got even better over that year. And then came back and took that loss to Quentin Wright. So I'm gonna stick with the win for Quentin Wright by just decision because it was, I believe it was 8-4, right, in that match.
8-6.
8-6. Okay, so I'm gonna go decision for Quentin Wright. Earl, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's hard to actually unsee the match that they wrestled together. I think if most people, especially at the time, saw these two guys on their own, they would have picked Kilgore to win, but it was just a horrible style matchup. Kilgore was just all in your face, action, pressure, and those underhooks you mentioned with Wright just kind of picked him apart.
Yeah. Also, I think there's a lot of guys you kind of think back and you're like, these guys are like the Mr. March guys of certain years. I think he was definitely a guy that just turned it on at the end of the year, in the tournament. So hard to pick against him. But Seth, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm on board with Quentin Wright. I think Kilgore got better after that, and he beat him in 2013. So I think I got to go Quentin Wright here.
Awesome. Jack?
Yeah, Quentin Wright for sure.
And Sam?
I got Quentin Wright. Although Dustin Kilgore was a blast to watch, man. That dude was exciting and a character. He was a lot of fun. I always liked going on trips with him. He had a crazy, he did, and maybe the Earl, maybe you remember, like a reach back. He just reached back like you're not supposed to do and put everybody on their back with it. It was the craziest, like slow-mo side roll switch thing. Crazy, and he hit it on everybody. So I'd never count him out of a match, but I have Quentin Wright also.
He also sat on people's chests to pin them. I don't know if y'all remember that, but isn't that how he pinned Clayton Foster that year? He just sat on his chest in the middle of a scramble and stuck him.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
whatever works.
I've got a good Kilgore story too. So the first time I was at the OTC, I was in middle school or going into high school, and I was wrestling there with their junior program, and we played handball, and he was a resident athlete there, and they play handball tackle handball.
Yeah.
And so I had the ball, and he came at me and just trucked me, and I was like, I'm done. I'm out. Help me out.
Funny.
It was below 100 pounds at that point. He was gigantic.
Yeah, I think I was a little scared of him growing up, man. I think it was his name, and then he was just a freaking scary dude.
Yeah.
It's like Kilgore. I was like, oh, geez.
Man. All right. Well, Quentin Wright takes the win there. Moving down to 285 pounds, Tony Nelson of Minnesota versus Zach Ray of Lehigh. This is another one that we have seen also in the NCAA finals. I'm correct on that one, right? I'm not losing my mind. But 2013, Tony Nelson. Earl, kick it off.
It's his sophomore year, Tony Nelson. He was seventh as a freshman. He was a 2 seed this year, went 32-2. His NCAA tournament was a quarterfinal win over Gerard Trice, 1-0, semi over Alan Galagayev, 5-4. And then he beat Mike McMullen 6-2 in the final. He also beat McMullen in the Big Ten finals.
All right. And Zach Ray, Seth.
He's a 3-time All-American. He got third, second, and first. This is his senior year, and he beat Don Bradley and Ryan Flores this year. And so him and Nelson did wrestle before. I think that's a big thing to look at here. So
yeah, so I was right on that. Tony Nelson beat him in the finals one year, right?
Yeah, I think the year he got
the finals.
Second.
Okay. Yeah. So I actually I can't remember that match too well. Does anybody remember watching that and kind of how that went down?
Got the score.
I mean, I'll say we're kind of spoiled right now with some of the heavyweights that, your Kyle Snyder's, your Gable Stevenson's, your athletic guys, where, these were kind of bigger guys that didn't have a whole lot of action going on. No offense to either one of them. They're both great wrestlers, but.
Yeah. What would you say the score was, Jack?
4-1.
4-1. Yeah, I mean, I'll just go ahead and kick it off. Tony Nelson, he was. Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head. With these heavyweights are getting a lot more athletic, and we're definitely spoiled with these recent guys being able to watch. Guys like, Mason Paris, Gable Stevenson. Even Tony Cassiope is kind of a more athletic heavyweight than the norm back then. But Tony Nelson, just a giant man, was good on top. He's still wrestling. I don't think he'll ever quit. He might wrestle till he's like 50 years old, and still beat all the best guys. I mean, he beat Gable, last year, the year before? So I'm going to stick Tony Nelson by decision.
Hey, Jacob, that won't happen again this year. Gable will be our guy.
I didn't say it would happen again. But it is an undeniable fact that it did happen at one point.
I've got Tony Nelson in this as well.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Sam, what are you thinking?
I got Tony Nelson. I always thought that guy was going to win. Zach Ray, I never thought would win. To his credit, he always found a way to get in there. And every time I thought, not this time, and then he would win. But Tony Nelson all day.
Yeah. Same for you, Earl.
Yeah, I'll give you a fun fact about Zach Ray. I believe that this year he lost in the EIWA finals, so he's the most recent guy to lose his conference tournament but still be the number 1 seed. But sign me up for Tony Nelson.
So he was still the number 1 seed, even losing his finals. Oh, wow.
That's crazy. I don't think that really ever happens just because the biggest criteria is your conference finish for seeding.
Yeah, I think they've probably changed it and weighed it more since then.
Yeah, for sure. But Tony Nelson, by decision, moves on for 2013. And we'll skip back around to the top. This one's definitely going to be a lot of fun to talk about. Jesse Delgado of Illinois versus Anthony Robles of Arizona State. Man, I don't even know where to start there. So let's kick it off. Seth, tell us about Anthony Robles.
So this is Anthony Robles' senior year. He was a 3-time All-American. This is when he beat Matt McDonough in the finals pretty handedly. And his senior year, he was 36-0. He had 31 out of his 36 matches were bonus points. So he was on fire his senior year and was not going to be stopped.
For sure. That was a very, very close Hodge race with who won this? That was Jordan Burroughs. Very, very close Hodge race there. A lot of people argue that Robles should have won it. But on the other end of things, Earl, tell us about Jesse Delgado.
All right, this is sophomore year Jesse Delgado. He was 7th as a freshman. His NCAA tournament path beat Nathan Kreiser 10-7 in the quarters, Nishan Garrett 10-5 in the semis, and then Nico Megaluda 7-4 for the championship. He also beat McDonough in the Big Ten finals, was 30-2 and 3rd at the Midlands.
Awesome. Man, I don't even know where to start here. I'm going to start us off with a little guy. All right, Sam, tell us, what are you feeling with these two guys?
I'm going Anthony Robles. He figured it out that year. His freshman year, I want to say, was my senior year, and he might have been one of the only freshmen I had a game plan for, because you had to be ready for him. You had to have some kind of game plan, and that was when he was a freshman. I can't imagine his senior year, and the difference between his junior and senior year was unreal. That Anthony, he figured that out earlier. He would have won it every year. I mean, you look down in that picture. He's a giant. His arms, his hands were so big. Once he figured out how to kind of play defense until he got his hands on you, oh my goodness. And Jesse Delgado, so fast, and his technique, unbelievable. But that matchup, I think, is really good for Anthony and not so good for Jesse.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think matchup-wise, this would be a terrible matchup for Delgado. I think that his scrambles and stuff won't work well against Robles. Robles was so strong. As soon as he gets a hold of you, it was hard to get away, scramble around from him, and you got to go Robles on this one.
For sure. Jack, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, Robles was unstoppable this year. I think just what he did to McDonough in the finals is like pretty much unheard of. No one's ever beaten McDonough that bad. So although Delgado is amazing, I think that he plays more to people like, I don't know. He needs to scramble more, and I think Robles is just too big, too strong to scramble with. So I'll go Robles.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Same thing. I think that Delgado really does thrive in those scramble situations and those leg passes and off of other people's shots. And I don't see him being able to get to his positions with Robles. So I'm going to go Delgado as well. And Earl, what do you think?
Yeah, one thing I think I heard McDonough say one time was that Robles, and this was kind of like what Sam said, you needed to have one match against Robles to kind of just get a feel for him. So just in a one match setting, they've never met before. I have a hard time seeing Delgado beating him.
Yeah. Are we all on just a decision here?
Yeah.
I was thinking more myself, but
yeah, man, that's something you're watching all these guys being a fan of the sport. There's certain guys that I would love to be able to wrestle just to feel certain situations. And Anthony Robles is definitely one where I want to know what that tilt is like. He hit it on everybody. And I really would want to know what that feels like coming from him because, I think it's just a place where he's just so positionally strong. And yeah, that's really good tilt, man. But 133 pounds, this one is a lot of fun and has a lot of controversy surrounding it. But we'll get started with it. 2013 Logan Stieber versus 2011 Jordan Oliver. Earl, kick us off with Logan Stieber in 2013.
All right, this is Logan Stieber's sophomore year. He went 27-0, won his second of 4 national titles. In the quarters, he teched Cody Brewer 17-1. He teched AJ Shop 18-2 in the semis, and then beat Ramos 7-4 in the finals. Also beat Ramos in the Big Ten finals, and was the OW at Cliff Keen.
Man, you just casually text those two guys on the way to the finals. That's insane. Jordan Oliver, tell us about him, Seth.
This was also Jordan Oliver's sophomore season. He was 29-0 on the year. He's a 2-time All-American at this point. He had 24 out of his 29 matches ended in bonus points. This is the year he beat Tyler Graff in the semis, and then he beat Andrew Hawkstresser in the finals. So that's sophomore year versus sophomore year here.
All right, so before we even get into our picks, I got to ask, all right, we got to go around and say, was it a takedown or not? I know it's a different year, 2012. Was it a takedown or not? Should Stieber have won or should Jo have won? What do you guys think? I'll start off with Seth.
Don't start with me, dude. I'm going to get fired up.
I'll start. It was the right call. His head was in the middle. At that point in time, your head had to be on the outside. And it wasn't 2. It was the right call. As much control as he had, the rules were wrong, and it's the rules' fault. But that wasn't 2. His head was in the middle.
Yeah. Sam, how about you?
I thought it was 2. I remember watching it and thinking he had 2. But it was close enough. There's a reason it's debated to this day.
Yeah. I can see both angles of it. I mean, I think that the rules are obviously the biggest factor in this, but like for me, it's 2, man. It's got to be a takedown. But 100% like if that's the way that the rules should have scored it, that's the way the rules should have scored it. But dude, that's a takedown 9 times out of 10 in a year. Earl, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just watching it, I thought it was a takedown, but, knowing how the rules were applied at the time, I do think it was the correct call for the time. I'm glad the rules been changed since. And the guy who made the call in the match, Virginia native Mike McCormick.
Yeah, his son's my teammate.
Yep.
He said that they've gotten like hate mail for it. People have like been real pissed about it.
Man. Seth, are you able to talk about this or should we move on?
Oh, man, this one hurt me, man. I was a huge Jordan Oliver fan, and this one freaking broke my heart. And, I thought it was 2 all day. I freaking was ready to go run down and fight the ref at the time. But, nothing we can do. Jordan Oliver got
back up on hate mail?
What's that?
Did you send some hate mail?
It was from Seth.
Oh, man. All right. Well, let's get into this specific matchup then. 2011, Jordan Oliver. 2013, Logan Stieber. Which way are we leaning on this one? Jack, what are you thinking?
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
I'll start. I got Stieber. I think he wins more times than not. You put them together 10 in a row, I got Stieber winning more.
Yeah.
Love Oliver. He's fun to watch, but man, it's hard to go against Stieber. Dude was good.
Hey, man, like I can't pick against Jordan Oliver. I think there's a better argument for Stieber, but just Jo found I mean, obviously didn't find a way in 2012, I guess, but Jordan Oliver for me, man. I got no argument to back that up because the numbers look like they favor Stieber and just how dominant he was, but Jo freaking could move and do things that nobody else could do.
Yeah. Earl, what do you think?
I really want to pick Jordan Oliver based on 2012, but just looking, like Seth said, looking at those results from those previous matches within the semis and quarters against those studs, it's really hard to argue with Stieber, and I would pick Stieber at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow suit here and pick Logan Stieber. Just I think that he got so much better as the years went on. And with that being such a close match that year, another year under his belt, Logan Stieber, teching guys like AJ Shop in the semifinals. I'm gonna go Stieber here.
But even this year, it was like controversial in his win with Tony Ramos. Like
the cradle.
Ramos had him on his back, and there was no points. I think that changes the match. I'm gonna go Jo because in 2012, Jo had a win over Stieber like during the regular season as well, and so. I mean, although Stieber's a 4-time NCAA champ, I don't know. Jo's right there. I mean, stud, absolutely unreal. So.
All right. Well, 3-2. Logan Stieber, super close vote, but Logan Stieber edges him out again in another controversial win. But 141 pounds, Kendrick Maple versus Kellen Russell. So. Seth, kick us off. Kellen Russell.
So Kellen Russell is a junior this year. At this point in time, he was a 2-time All-American, 1-time NCAA champ. And that year at NCAAs, he beat Montel Marion in the ultimate tiebreakers in the semis. And then he beat Boris Nikot. How do you say that? Boris
Novachkov.
Novachkov. 3-2 in the finals.
All right. And then on the other end, Kendrick Maple, Earl.
All right. Kendrick Maple, he was a junior this year. He was the 2 seed. He finished undefeated 31-0. Quarters, he beat Mark Ballwig 12-3. In the semis, he beat Ugi from, I can't pronounce the last name, from the Citadel 4-0. And he beat Mitchell Port 4-3 for the title. The 1 seed was Hunter Stieber, who Port beat in the semis. Maple also won the Midlands that year, and I think that he probably improved more than any guy on this list from freshman year to championship, because a lot of these guys were kind of superstars coming out of high school.
Yeah, man. Well, Seth, what are you thinking on this one?
I'm leaning Kendrick Maple. I think matchup wise, his athleticism and his ability in different positions was just unreal. And I think Kendrick Maple's length would play a factor in this match.
Yeah. Sam.
Oh, Kendrick Maple all day, and I am happily biased. I've wrestled a lot of guys over the years, and Kendrick Maple is the only one that when he was on, it didn't matter if I was on, like I couldn't touch him. I couldn't get to a leg, not even getting close to finishing. I couldn't get any kind of offense going. I would get so frustrated. I'd be yelling at Coach Leitner, just like, put me with somebody else. This isn't helping my training. I can't even touch the guy. It was unreal when he was on. And then, senior year, he had some kind of weird stomach issue. Watch matches wrestling on a knee. Like, he didn't do that. He couldn't even stand up during matches. Man, I can't explain how good that guy got. It was unreal. I Kendrick Maple all day.
Has anybody here ever wrestled Kellen Russell? Or no? Not looking like it. Yeah. All right. So Earl, what do you think?
Yeah, man, it's always hard to pick against Kellen Russell just because he had just a ridiculous record in close matches, overtime, sudden victory. But I like what Seth said about the length. I think that would make a difference. And I think he probably has too much offense for Russell.
All right. So that, I guess, who are we missing? Seth?
No, me.
Nope. Jack.
I've got Kendrick Maple as well. I just remember that year he was pretty dominant, undefeated season. Apparently, I just read that 6 out of these 2013 NCAA champs were all undefeated. So it was just a dominant year. But Kendrick Maple was he just crushed people, and he was huge 141.
Yeah. All right. Well, I sorry, I gotta go Kellen Russell. I know it's already decided, but I'm gonna throw my vote for Kellen Russell. Just the dude was amazing, and I think that he's kind of overlooked a little bit, and how good he was for those 2 years. But Kendrick Maple moves on for 2013, picking up the win. And we'll jump into yet another Jordan Oliver match. So 149 pounds. In 2013, we have J.O. versus 2011, Kyle Dake. So let's start this one off. 2013, Jordan Oliver Earl.
All right, so this is his only year at 149, jumps up 2 weight classes. He went undefeated 41-0. In the quarters, he beat Jake Soufflon 11-3. Semis, he beat Steve Santos 14-3. In the finals, he beat Jason Chamberlain 3-2. He won the scuffle. He was a 4-time All-American, going 4-1, 2-1. And he is Oklahoma State's all-time leader in bonus point percentage with 77% and falls with 54%.
Man. Wow. All right, Kyle Dake, Seth.
So this was sophomore Kyle Dake, 2-time NCAA champ at the time. He was 31-2 on the season. At nationals, he was the 4th seed going in. He ended up beating. So Grajales got knocked off. He was the 1 seed. He got knocked off in the quarters, and then Kyle Dake beat Sanja, and then he beat Frank Molinaro in the finals. Pretty dominant win in the finals, but before that, he had some pretty close matches.
Yeah, this is like, I was thinking the other day, and I was trying to think of, other things that we could do on the show and different matchups and all that kind of stuff. And this is one that popped in my head immediately that I would love to have seen. Like, I would absolutely have loved to see these two dudes throw down, this weight or right around this weight. And just, it's offense versus defense here, man. I mean, just crazy offense from J.O. Dake, one of the hardest dudes to score on, doesn't ever really get scored on. And so it's just, it kind of depends on which way you want to lean, offense or defense here for me. But Sam, what do you think about this one?
Man, I didn't know that about Oliver. But I think Dake. It's hard to go against college Dake. And I will say, I have this argument with guys all the time, but we'll see a 4-timer undefeated before we see somebody else win 4 at 4 different weights. And I have a hard time going against Dake. His defense so hard to score on, and Oliver's a offensive wizard. He's as good a technician as they come. But man, Dake just shut people down. He was good at it. So I'm going to go Dake, but this is one of the harder ones to choose for sure.
Yeah. Jack, what do you think?
I got Dake.
Oof. All right, let me jump in here before y'all jump on board with Dake, man. This is Jordan Oliver all day. Dake had 2 losses on the year. The weight wasn't honestly that deep. I mean, Darian Caldwell going out in the nationals or in the first round at nationals was a huge. I mean, I think Dake loses if Darian Caldwell keeps going. But Dake lost twice that year. Jordan Oliver was unstoppable that year. He had some close matches, but this is senior Jordan Oliver right here. He's a 2-time national champ, 4-time All-American. And I think he's so good at quick takedowns that he'd be able to get some quick takedowns on Dake if it's a slide by, if it's a quick finish. And he's taking Dake out for sure. Sophomore Dake he takes out.
I 100% agree with you. I'm going to go J.O. here as well. I think that the different years of Kyle Dake would sway me different ways, right? I think that if you're talking junior, senior year Dake, I might be going the other way. Just that level of dominance that he had later in his career. But this year, like you said, he had 2 losses, and he had a lot of close matches, and J.O. was just destroying people. I mean, he was unstoppable. And so I'm gonna favor the offense here. I think it's a close match, but when it's so close, I'm taking the offensive wizard over here, and I think J.O. is gonna edge him out by a point or two. So I got Jordan Oliver, and we're gonna leave it to Earl to decide.
Oh, that's convenient. You did that. All right. Well, I go J.O.
Wow.
From what you guys are saying, I mean, sophomore year Kyle Dake, he was beatable. He lost in the EIWA finals. Oliver was on a different level. He had a guy in the final that was pretty defensive, and Chamberlain himself, not the level of Dake, but he managed to get it done in the last couple seconds with his little shrug that was kind of one of his trademarks. And give me J.O.
Yeah.
Let's go.
How do you guys feel about the matchup with Joe and Nolf coming up? You seen that?
You crazy.
That's gonna be
I
fun.
think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. That whole card's gonna be kind of cool. But 157 pounds will move on. Derek St. John of Iowa in 2013 versus 2011 Bubba Jenkins. Seth, kick us off with Bubba Jenkins.
So this was Bubba Jenkins' senior year. He was a 2-time finalist, a 1-time champ. This is the year he pinned David Taylor in the finals. And yeah, he had a great year that year.
2013, Earl, for Derek St. John.
Derek St. John was a junior this season. He went 4th and 2nd the previous 2 seasons. He was 31-2 in the quarters. He beat Josh Demas 4-0. Semis, Alex Deeringer 3-2 in tiebreakers, and then in the finals, Jason Welsh 3-2. St. John was also 3rd in the Big Ten this year. He lost to James Green in the semis.
And yeah, just a common matchup right away. Bubba Jenkins did beat Jason Welch 8-5 in the semifinals in 2011.
Yep.
Was this the year that the top 4 seeds were all undefeated, or am I just crazy thinking that? Steve Fittery, Adam Hall, David Taylor, and Bubba Jenkins.
No,
because Adam Hall was undefeated. He was the 1 seed.
Fittery was definitely undefeated.
Yeah.
Bubba lost to Hall in the Pac-12. So
okay.
So there's 3 under.
Yeah.
I knew that there was something like that.
Was Derek St. John in that way?
Yeah, 11? He was the 6th seed.
Yep.
He took 4th.
He got beat 13-1 by Steve Fittery.
Yep.
The 3rd.
And Jason Welch knocked off Adam Hall in 2011.
Man. So which way are you guys leaning on this one? Sam, what do you think about this matchup?
Man, this was the one that I had a question mark by. Bubba was explosive, but I remember thinking I thought Taylor would beat him. I thought Taylor was better. And then Derek St. John, I love the way that guy wrestles. He's in all of his matches. He's always fighting. If I had to choose, I'm probably going Bubba, but I could be easily swayed because Derek's he doesn't have a bad match. You know, Bubba had bad matches now and then. Derek's always in the fight. But if I had to choose, I'm probably going Bubba, though.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take Derek St. John. I think, like you're saying, it's a super close match. It's hard to pick one way or the other. But I'm really going to stick with the grinder and St. John. And we'll kick it on to somebody else to talk a little bit more about it.
I'll jump in there. So Derek St. John was actually my favorite dude growing up. Like, I loved watching him, loved his style, loved what he did. He made the finals on a bum knee one year, which was crazy impressive. But with that being said, I'm going to go Bubba Jenkins because, right, they both wrestled the same dude in the finals. Bubba Jenkins pins him, and Derek St. John lost to him. And I think you got to go Bubba Jenkins.
Yeah. All right, Earl, what do you think?
Man, I love Bubba Jenkins, Virginia guy. I watched him wrestle since he was probably 7th grade, I think. So I'm slightly biased here. I do think that if this match were to be wrestled 10 times, St. John would probably win 4 times. But I don't know. You put Bubba on the big stage. I feel like he thrives in that environment, and I could see him pulling out just one single match.
Thrives in that environment, except if the man across from him is Brent Metcalf.
Well, he had a great match in this. That's another. You want to look at Darian Caldwell matches when he beat Caldwell in the 2008 semis. That was a heck of a match.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of the was it 2009 Big Ten championships with Brent Metcalf and Bubba Jenkins.
I think he was hurt and then went 0-2 at nationals in the couple weeks after that. But
dude, that was a beatdown though.
It was ugly. It was ugly.
It was bad. But all right, so Jack, what do you think?
Oh, I got Bubba. Jacob loves Iowa, man. Jude loves Penn State and Jacob loves Iowa. I'm happy that I'm on this show to bring them down a few notches.
No, come on. I think it's a close match. And I like the more grinding style, but also I was a gigantic David Taylor fan that first year. I actually went to Penn State camp the summer before, and he was my counselor for the whole week. And so I was just pulling for him so hard. I loved him. And, your man, Bubba Jenkins, pinned him. So call me salty, whatever, but the vote wouldn't have mattered if I went any other way. So Bubba Jenkins wins this match, unfortunately. And we'll move to the main event of the duel, 165 pounds. This is the one that it garnered so much attention on FRL when both these guys joined the show to talk about this exact match. 2013 Kyle Dake versus 2011 Jordan Burroughs. I went back and forth thinking about this for the past 24 hours, and I still don't know what I'm picking either. So we'll kick it to Earl. Tell us a little bit about 2013 Kyle Dake and his historic career.
All right. You guys all know the 4 titles, 4 years. This is his senior year. He beats Nick Solzer 13-0 in the quarters. Then Tyler Caldwell 2-0 in the semis, and David Taylor 5-4 in the finals. He beat Taylor at the Southern Scuffle that year, and they also wrestled in the All-Star match, which was unofficial, but Dake won in, I think, tiebreakers there as well.
Yeah. And then on the other end of things, Jordan Burroughs, 2011, Seth, fill us in for that.
So he was a 2-time champ, undefeated champ these last 2 years. He was unbelievable. He bonus point his way through the NCAA tournament, beating Colt Spawnseller in the semis, and then 11-3 over Tyler Caldwell. Andrew Howe was in that bracket, and Jordan Burroughs goes on to make a team right out of college and win a world championship. And yeah, that's Jordan Burroughs.
Absolutely. And these not only are these two just capping off historic careers, they're some of the best to ever do it. They're both Hodge Trophy winners in this duel. So Jack, I'm gonna give you the task of starting it off first for us.
Oh, man, I am about to make myself look so bad here, but I think Kyle Dake is the GOAT of college wrestling. I've said it. I stick to it. But maybe that's purely based on accolades, because I'm going Burroughs here, because Burroughs won a world title right out of college, and Dake didn't make the team because of Burroughs. So, I mean, even though it's freestyle, I think that freestyle and folk style are very similar. Would the top game of Dake neutralize Burroughs? Maybe. I mean, he was like one of the best top wrestlers ever. Maybe.
I think that's one thing I remember when they talked a little bit. Jordan Burroughs said nobody held him down ever. So I also don't think he ever wrestled anybody that was just maybe as good as Kyle Dake was on top. But
yeah,
I don't
there's
think
no way.
He also, in that whole argument, several times said that he wouldn't take down, or he wouldn't have to take down. He kept talking about not taking down and being able to win. And so I definitely think he's obviously confident in himself, but like just the fact of him saying like, oh, I don't need to take down. I wouldn't take down. That kind of tells me that I think Kyle Dake could have put the ride on there. Jack, did you go with Burrows?
I'm Burrows.
I'm Kyle Dake. I got Dake in a folk style match here. I think that's the biggest deal. I think folk style really does play into it here. I think on their feet, they're, similar. I think maybe you might favor Burrows, but I can also see Dake with that incredible defense. I can see him stealing a shot too. But I think top game is the difference for me here. I think it's so close in most areas, but I can see Dake getting away from Burrows, and I can see either him holding Burrows down enough to get riding time, or Burrows not even picking bottom and kind of giving away that point. So I'm gonna pick Kyle Dake here. And Seth, what do you think?
Jordan Burrows all day, every day, man. Like, unstoppable. This dude goes on to freaking win a world title. Kyle Dake didn't even really come close to making a team right out of college. Jordan was on another level, man. And then he goes on to freaking be undefeated on the senior level for how long? I mean, this dude, and I can't unsee a freaking 7-1 record that Jordan Burrows has over Kyle Dake. I know it's later on, but this dude was unreal, and just, I think he was unstoppable his senior year.
I absolutely love both these guys. I think they're amazing. It's so much fun to watch. But, dude, come on. Like, the reason that Kyle Dake didn't get to win a world title until later in his freestyle career, obviously because of Jordan Burrows. But if you guys watch that Bad Blood documentary, dude, so many calls. Dake got burnt so many times, or was literally just right there so many times. And
that's the way he wrestles, though, man. That's the way he wrestles. Jordan Burrows just lights dudes up, so we ain't got to worry about that.
I didn't realize, though, back like watching it in real time, but like watching it back, there was so many calls where the ref, I think, might have kind of swayed a certain way or whatever. I don't know. I got kind of
can't leave it up to the ref, Jacob.
No, dude, like
can't leave it up to the ref.
I actually was like 100% Burrows, team Burrows, and then I watched that Bad Blood, and I'm like, dude, he got burnt like several times. Like, oh man, I don't know, but all right, we got two Burrows, and I'll kick it to Sam because I don't want to make you go last. So Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I got Andrew Howe coming in out of nowhere and beating both of them.
Bear hug to the back.
Yeah, getting them both. He's got wins over both of them. No, man, it is hard to go against Dake, but that was the beginning of Jordan Burrows. He didn't lose for like 3 years. Was it 65-0 in freestyle, and no doubt he's better at freestyle, but this was junior year Burrows. I'd have gone Dake all day. Senior year Burrows is when he found his rhythm, and Dake didn't make the team for a while. And to be the ref's shoes, if you're gonna lean one way or another, you got the guy that's undefeated, world champ, Olympic champ. That's the way you lean. And I don't like when refs do it. I don't like the politics at all. But if it's gonna happen, that's the way it should happen. You lean toward the guy that has earned it so far. And to Jordan Burrows' point, I think he was saying, not that he was scared of Dake, but Dake's point was he would ride everybody. He would ride them. And Jordan was saying, like, I can neutralize that right away. I take you down and have to choose down. Like, I'll take your best part out right away. And then what are you going to do? How are you going to answer if I don't choose down because I'm winning? And I think that's what would happen. On the feet, I got Burrows. Dake could maybe ride him on top, but I don't think he necessarily has a chance. I think Jordan has no problem stealing a takedown. I'm going to go ahead.
I loved the disrespect in the interview of Dake kept going. It's all right. I'd switch reversal. I'd reverse you. It's like every time he's like,
true. Yeah.
You got Burrows.
I like their confidence, but I got Burrows. And I will say, and NAI has a cool rule. So we get to send 12 to nationals instead of 10. So this is kind of always my example. Burroughs was the best in the world, and Dake and Taylor both behind him. And as soon as they moved to another weight, they both won a world title. And if they're NAI, both of them can wrestle, even if they're at the same weight. They don't have to be the backup to a Jordan Burroughs for college. It's a really cool rule that I wish other divisions did.
That is pretty sweet.
Yeah, we do it. They do it in the Olympics in a lot of sports. Swimming, we got first and second all the time, you know.
Mhm.
I wish they would do it in wrestling. I understand why they don't, but I wish they would. Anyway, that's a pet peeve of mine.
I think it would make for a better product, you know, for the fans.
Absolutely.
Like, because there's so many dudes, you know, you think obviously we're biased for these US guys, but there's so many dudes over in Russia, you know, like they probably got 5 dudes on their team that could be in the finals, you know, at certain weights. And so that would be so much fun if they would do that and just be able to watch. I mean, almost like an open world championship.
Speaking of Andrew Howe, he did it. You know, he won Tbilisi. He didn't officially win it, but the Russian was just laying on his belly for like 3 minutes, and they kept not giving him takedowns. If you've never seen that match, you should watch it. It's incredible. But yeah, Andrew Howe was easily number 2 in the world behind Jordan that year, easily.
Yeah,
we've had some unbelievable guys. It's all the more why I got Burroughs. The guys that he's beat to stay number 1 is incredible.
Sure.
When I think about that, I think about like when it was the Soviet Union instead of Russia.
Yep.
Because that whole Soviet bloc, Uzbekistan, all the stands were a part of Russia. And then all those Eastern European countries were also a part of Russia. So instead of sending 20 guys, they're sending 1. And Kendall tells me that all the time when he was, because he wrestled during the fall of the Soviet Union. So he went from wrestling 1 Soviet Union guy to wrestling 10, 15, 20 Russians, you know? So it was a game changer.
Yeah. All right, well, let's end it off. Earl, who do you got in this match?
All right, so I'm not trying to throw shade necessarily. Maybe
throw the shade.
Not throw it.
So you know how everybody was criticizing The Last Dance because Michael Jordan produced that thing, or at least had some control over it. I felt like Bad Blood was had Cornell's executive producing or something, because I felt it was kind of slanted towards Kyle Dake a little bit. But that being said, I think Burroughs could kind of dictate how the match goes, getting a takedown or 2 in this particular one, and that says something because Kyle Dake is one of the greats all time of collegiate folk style.
Man.
Jacob is hurting right now.
I love it. I'm pissed. Oh my God. Whatever.
The show brings out the worst in us. It's okay.
It's the first time I'm pissed, and it's not Jack. It's usually Jack pissed every time.
Every time I walk away from the show, I'm just like enraged.
Oh,
because Jack's usually right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, hey. Whatever.
Seth was the one that was mad last time.
Jake's not gonna invite me back.
I was mad last time. You guys kept picking against Zane, man. That was unreal.
Hey, did you guys see on Instagram, Caldwell commented on our thing, and he put Zane don't want the smoke. Like, dude, I would love to see that. But anyways, we finished this first duel, 2013 versus 2011. 2013, the 2 seed takes them out 19-12. Great match. A lot of just studly matchups here, but it was a great one. And we'll go ahead and take a second break if anybody's got to run to the bathroom or anything, and then we'll jump on to the next one if that's cool.
Yep.
Y'all good?
Yeah, I'm gonna get some water.
I'll
be right
cut
back.
this out of the recording when we go, but we'll take a second break and go on back.
Some more coffee.
If you are still watching live, you can definitely take a second break and come back. And when we do the recording, we will edit this out. But we'll be back in just a second.
Just sitting on the couch. Rana, you want to look real quick? Look what she did. She just planted herself on there, and she's just sitting there staring. Oh, look at her. I see. Look at her. I'm gonna see if she barks. If she barks, I'll send her out. I'll let her stay. Oh, yeah.
Congrats, Seth.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. You're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's been fun already. We got on our phone calls yesterday, and yeah, it's already been fun. 1 sec, I gotta let my dog.
Oh, damn, Seth. Right there.
There it is.
My kid's playroom.
That's awesome.
As you should.
Look at that, Seth.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
But there's a lot of injuries in your kid's playroom.
I don't think there'll ever be a cooler pick than that.
I still wish we would have done that April Fool's.
I know.
It would have been the best ever. It would have been so good.
That would have been great. I thought Bono was the one that was like,
I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. You don't want to take the chance of somehow it being like legal binding somehow. I don't know how it would be, but I don't blame him. There was enough craziness going on.
Yeah, that would have been good though.
It would have been funny. It definitely would have been.
All right. Are you guys good to go?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into this next duel. We have 2012 versus 2007. This is yet another awesome matchup. This is going to be fun to talk about too, because Mr. Sam Hazewinkle wrestled during the time period for one of these duels. So you probably know a bunch of these guys.
I'm picking 07 on every match.
A little bit biased. It's all
Greatest generation.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get into it. 2007, I have that duel, I have that team. So Matt McDonough at this point is a two-time national champion, 133 pounds. Logan Stieber, this is his first championship when he beat Jo in that controversial match. 141 is Kellen Russell. 149 is Frank Molinaro finally getting his title. 157, Kyle Dake winning his third. 165, David Taylor. I believe this is his this is his first, when he got a technical fall in the finals. 174, Ed Ruth. 184, Steve Bozak. 97, Cam Simaz. And 285 pounds, this is Tony Nelson. And then we will kick it over for the 2007 team. Jack, fill us in.
So Paul Donahoe, one-time champ. Matt Valenti, two-time champ. Derek Moore, one-time champ. Gregor, one-time champ. Trent, one-time champ. Mark Perry, one-time champ at this point. Ben Askren, two-time champ. Four-time finalist at this point. Jake Herbert, 2-time finalist, 1-time champ at this point. Josh Glenn, 1-time champ, and Cole Conrad, 3-time finalist, 2-time champ.
Was Askren Hodge this year?
Yeah, didn't he win 2?
He won 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the Hodge for Askren in 2007. And what matchup do you guys want to kick this one off with?
I think we should start with 184, just because 165 and 174 are going to be crazy.
That's true. Yeah, 184 pounds. That sounds like a good starting place. So kick it off with Jake Herbert for us, Jack.
So he was a runner-up in 06, beating Mark Perry in the semis before losing to Ben Askren in the finals. And then he was the champ in 07, beating a tough Tyrell Todd from Michigan in the semis and a young Jake Varner in the finals.
All right. On the other end, we got Steve Bozak coming from the 4 seed in this specific year. He takes out Kevin Steinhaus in the quarters, Austin Trotman in the semis, and then beats Quentin Wright in the finals. Defending champ Quentin Wright in the finals, 4-2 in overtime. That was a fun match to watch. And Cam Samaz finally gets his title. Or Steve Bozak gets his title. Sorry, Ron Cornell guy. But Bozak versus Herbert. I'll kick it to you, Earl. Tell us, what do you think about this matchup?
I think Herbert, even as a junior, he kind of just has too much offense for Bozak. Bozak was pretty stout defensively. He was able to slow down a guy like Quentin Wright, but I don't see him doing that to Herbert. I'll say Jake by regular decision.
All right. Sam, what do you think?
I got Jake Herbert, and I'm close to a major. Not quite there, but Jake Herbert, that was when he started figuring it out. Or he had it figured out before he ran into Ben Askren before, but he really picked it up the last 2 years. And, the next year, 08, and I know we're not looking ahead, but 08, it's when I want to say he won Hodge and made Olympic team. Was he silver in the Olympics, or was it this year that he took silver at Worlds? But it was an unbelievable run that year. Whichever year it was. And I got Jake Herbert all day.
Yeah.
He's the wrestling ninja, right?
Yeah. Double leg ninja.
Double leg ninja. There it is. Yeah.
He actually
against that.
Yeah. He actually commented on this on Facebook and put I don't remember exactly how he put it, but it was like 184 is on lock, right? Or something like that. It's an easy decision.
Yeah.
But
and he had the mullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mullet.
Freaking dirty.
All right, Seth, what do you feel?
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I got Jake Herbert just by decision, though.
All right, Jack.
I've got Herbert. I'll say major. I mean, I love Jake Herbert. He was so much fun to watch. Just the one guy to go after Askren. I don't know.
That was a fun finals match.
No one's behind me, but I'm gonna stick to it.
Yeah. I'll go Jake Herbert as well. Sorry, Sam?
I'll say I'd back him with going by major. I have no problem with that.
Oh, so are we getting into major territory, Seth and Earl?
I say regular decision, but it's close.
I'll say go for it.
Major. All right. Yeah. Jake Herbert by major decision.
Starting the team off hot in 07.
Kicking it off with a bang. But then we'll go down to 197 pounds next. For 2012, we have another Cornell Big Red wrestler, Cam Simaz. And in this year, Cam Simaz, as you already know, won his national title, but he was the 1 seed. He went through guys like Morgan McIntosh in the second round, Alfonso Hernandez, Cale Byers, and then Chris Honeycutt in the finals, 7-5. On the other end, Josh Glenn. Jack, fill us in.
Josh Glenn was 4th in 2006 as the number 1 seed, losing to Shane Webster from Oregon, and then he lost to Pete Friedel for 3rd. He was the champ in 2007 in a pretty loaded weight class. He went through Patrick Bond, Craig Brester, Chris Weidman, and Kurt Backus in his route to the championship. Also in that weight class was J.D. Bergman, Phil Davis, Mike Tamillo. I mean, it was a really tough weight. and he got through it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Earl, what do you think on this match?
Man, Glenn's a guy. If you watch this final match against Bacchus, he got his knee torn up kind of late in the match, and that ended up kind of costing him the next year. He missed a big chunk of the regular season and wasn't quite the same. But Josh Glenn is freaking good. I would take him against Simaz. I mean, Simaz was known for having a gas tank and always pushing forward, wearing down his guys. But I'm going with Josh Glenn.
All right, Sam, what do you think?
Same. Is he American's only national champ?
Yes,
sir.
Yeah, and he was good. I'm going Josh Glenn also.
All right, Seth.
I'll third that. Josh Glenn for the win, I think. Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch a whole lot of him, but I've heard he was very good. First champ for American. Simez, I think they have similar careers. Simez he did give up takedowns early, and if you could match his pace, I think you got a pretty good shot at beating him.
Yeah. All right, Jack. Are you on the Glenn train or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean that 2007 run was very impressive to me. I think that I'm not really familiar with both these guys, but I'm gonna go Glenn as well.
Yeah, definitely some good dudes in that bracket. You have UFC champ Chris Weidman taking third, Phil Davis, eventual national champion, taking fifth. I'm gonna go with it. It's gonna be a clean sweep for Josh Glenn. And so Josh Glenn takes the win for 2007. And just like that, we're off to a 7-0 start for the 2007 team. So we're getting places, man. But next one, 285 pounds, Tony Nelson of Minnesota versus Cole Conrad of Minnesota. A little gopher on gopher action here. But Tony Nelson, two-time national champion. And this year was the year that he defeated Zach Ray in the finals 4-1. Tony Nelson actually was the 2 seed. And would you look at that? Who he met in the very first round of the tournament was none other than Nick Gwistowski from Binghamton. So when Nick Gwiz was at Binghamton, him and Tony Nelson hit in the very first round. Tony taking that 8-0. And then winning his next match 6-0. Beating Mike McMullen by a fall in the quarters, beat Clayton Jack 4-3 in the semis, and then 4-1 win over Zach Ray in the finals. And that is Anthony Nelson's year. So on the other end of things, Cole Conrad, Jack, I know you're a big fan. Tell us about him.
Yeah, so this was Cole Conrad's senior year. He got 4th in 2004. He was a runner-up in 2005. In what would be his last ever loss to Steve Mocco in the finals after beating Cain Velasquez in the semis. And then he was the champ in 2006, beating Cain Velasquez and Steve Mocco, both in tiebreakers. And then in 2007, he dominated his way through the tournament, pinning Aaron Anspach, whatever, in the finals in 1 minute and 53 seconds. So senior year Mocco was dominant, to say the least.
These are 2 really big dudes too. I mean, big guys. But yeah, this one's kind of harder for me because I don't have as much experience watching Cole Conrad wrestle. So I'm going to kick somebody that probably does. Sam, how much do you know about Cole Conrad, and what do you think about this matchup?
I got Cole Conrad winning it. I think he was a big reason Tony Nelson was as good as he is. And just Cole, I mean, like, was it Jack that said it? Mocco was unreal that year. Everybody thought Mocco was going to win it. And Cole Conrad just had a different mindset than everybody else in the country. And Mocco is considered one of the best heavyweights all time. Unbelievable wrestler. And Cole was a beast. He just found a way to win. He had that grind in him. I got Cole Conrad. And I love Tony Nelson, by the way. Both of them both two-timers. Did Tony end up winning 3?
No, he lost
Was he a
to
two-timer?
Gwiz, right? In
Yeah.
the last year in the finals.
That's when
Yeah.
heavyweight had kind of like a, I don't want to say a curse, but like kind of
It was like a pattern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Cole got beat by the best, came back and beat him. Tony Nelson beat the best, and then best came back and beat him. That might be the difference there.
I'm on board.
I
with
am, of course,
Conrad.
biased 07.
All right. Seth's got Conrad.
I'm on board with Conrad. Him and Mako is like my favorite thing ever growing up watching those guys. Went to a lot of the Gopher duels and always love watching Conrad. He put points on the board and he was a big guy. And I got him edging over Conrad. Like Sam said, I think that he has a lot to do with Tony Nelson's success and them working together once Tony Nelson got there. And I got to give it to Conrad.
Yeah. Jack, which way are you going?
I've said this story before, but the most upset I ever was at an NCAA's was when Conrad beat Steve Mako, even after my own finals match. Not kidding. But Cole Conrad was just unreal. He wasn't very fun to watch, but I mean, he dominated. So I think especially senior year when he didn't have Mako in his weight and he's just pinning people in the first period, especially in the finals match, it's very impressive. So I'm going to give it to Conrad.
Yeah. I think, you guys are kind of swaying me to Cole Conrad. Again, I don't have much experience, so it's a hard vote for me, but it looks like it's kind of going Cole Conrad's way either way. Tony Nelson, man, I loved that era of Gophers when they had, the Storleys and Steinhaus and Schillers and all those guys. I was a big fan of that team coming through. And kind of let down, I think it was 2013 when Minnesota was right in it for the team title. They had, I believe, Ness and Nelson in the finals, and if one of them won, I think that they would have gotten the title, or maybe both of them had to win. I can't remember exactly how that situation was, but I remember watching Tony lose, and I was really pulling for the Gophers to get that team title, and that sucked. But I'm gonna go Cole Conrad and kick it to Earl for the last vote.
Yeah, I'm going Cole Conrad as well. Yeah, after Mako was gone, he was just on a different level from everybody else this year, and I think he did everything Nelson did better.
All right. Wow, 10-0 after the first 4. So we're gonna go back around to the top. 2012 Matt McDonough versus 2007 Paul Donahoe. For Matt McDonough, this is his junior season. Of course, we know he won it as a freshman, and then as a sophomore was in the finals again. Lost to Anthony Robles, just couldn't figure out that tilt. But he came back his junior season and won in the finals this year. And I believe, who was it in the finals this year? This was Nico, right? Yep, this was Nico. Okay, so he beat Nico in the finals this year, a freshman, Nico Megaludis, beat him 4-1. But he also went through a couple of different guys, Ryan Mago in the quarters, and then is it Nick Bedleon in the semis? But he was pretty dominant this year. I mean, he went in this tournament fall, major, and then 4-1 in the finals. So pretty dominant year for Matt McDonough. But he's facing off against Paul Donahoe, and we will kick it to Jack for Paul Donahoe.
Yeah. So he was a freshman this year. He was seeded 6th. His route to winning the title was 3-time All-American Tanner Gardner in the quarters, and then Troy Nickerson in the semis, and then Sam, in the finals. So it was I think y'all wrestled in the Big 12s as well that year. So that was his route in 2007.
Yeah, Sam, do you want to weigh in on this one a little bit?
Yeah, Donahoe had the greatest tournament ever right there. He did what nobody could do. So how do you go against him? No, He did have an unbelievable run. He beat Nickerson. Nobody really saw that coming. Nickerson was the returning champ, at the time, and he beat him. I want to say in overtime, and then he beat me in overtime after I'd majored him 12-1 or 11-1 or something 2 weeks before Big 12. So he had an unbelievable run. Just a great game plan. That dude was on fire at that tournament. That said, Matt McDonough was 3-time finalist at this point, and I somehow never wrestled Matt. Wrestled all the same people, and we never met up at all. So I can't say for certain, but I got Matt McDonough winning it.
Yeah, I didn't notice this until just looking at the bracket now. But Sam, you beat Jason Ness in the semifinals 10-0.
Yeah, I was on fire until the finals. I was trying to get that Hodge. I wanted the Hodge that year, and I'd been wrestling pretty good.
Yeah,
fell apart a little bit in the finals. It was bad. It was very indecisive. It was between wanting to crush him and get that Hodge, and like just making sure I get the win, because we'd had a bunch of close matches, and indecision will kill you. Don't want indecision. I tell you what, though. Paul had me beat the year before, Oklahoma City in 06, and I got food poisoning. Second day of weigh-ins, what would it be, 126, and I weighed in at 119. I was trying to stand at the back of the line, and that kept calling us to the front. Like, all the front side guys are up here, and I didn't want to weigh in front of everybody because I was so little. And Paul had me on the ropes. The only time I've ever taken a timeout because I was tired. And
Dang it!
I was hurting.
I thought he was a freshman this year. Yeah, y'all wrestled in the quarters. You beat him 5-0, and then he got beat by Coleman in the round of 12.
Yeah, it was unbelievably tough weight bracket. But I'm biased. It was
no, it was
04,
tough.
07, 08, 2000s was 25 was tough.
Because even Tanner was like a stud, and he never got above 5th.
Yeah, the 19, 20 seed guys were unbelievable. Mark McKnight was like seeded 19th every year, right in that area, and that dude was good.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So you got Donahoe or McDonough?
He was on fire. I had McDonough. That said, I had McDonough, even though senior year or 07 Donahoe was on fire.
Yep. All right. So 1 vote for McDonough, and we will go to Earl. What do you think?
Yeah, Donahoe had a great run. That being said, 2012 McDonough was pretty good. I'll take McDonough in this match.
I'll go with McDonough as well.
All right, and Jack?
Yeah, McDonough.
Yeah, I'm gonna go McDonough for the 5-0 vote here for McDonough. So McDonough moves on by decision unless anybody has any objections to that. But McDonough gets 2012, its first win, and we will keep going. 133 pounds. We have Logan Stieber versus Matt Valenti. For Logan Stieber in 2012, this was his freshman campaign. He beat Jordan Oliver in the finals in that controversial match. He also lost to Jo earlier in the year. But he was the 2 seed in this tournament. Coming up through there, he beat guys like Chris Dardanes, Tony Ramos in the semifinals, and then Jordan Oliver. That's a pretty stout hit list right there. I mean, 7-4 over Dardanes, 4-2 over Tony Ramos, who he met in the finals the following year, and then of course that 4-3 crazy win in the finals over Jordan Oliver. So that's where we're at with Logan Stieber there, the first year freshman Logan Stieber taking on Matt Valenti. Jack, tell us about Matt Valenti.
So this was Matt Valenti's second title. He was 5th in 2004 as the number 3 seed, beating Tanner Gardner. No, that was the wrong one. But he did beat Tanner Gardner that year, actually. He was the 3 seed. He lost to Mark McKnight in the first round, and then he beat Tanner Gardner, Luke Eustace, and Joe Dubuque on his route to the 5th place. He was champ in 06. as the 6th seed. He beat Chris Flieger in the finals. And then he was the champ in 07, beating Mac Ryder, Daryl Vasquez in the semis, and then Coleman Scott in the finals.
All right. So with that being said, Sam, what do you think about this matchup with Stieber and Valenti?
Yeah, it's hard for me to not think of Stieber as a four-timer. Him as freshman year, but I wrestled them both. Matt Valenti was 25 for a couple of years, then bumped up. And Matt was good. His positioning was solid. He just always brought people to deep water late in the match, and that's where he'd win it. That said, Logan Stieber, if he got to a leg, he finished. And people got to Matt's legs all the time. I shouldn't say all the time. He's a two-time champ. But they got to his legs, and he would fend them off, and I don't think he fends off Logan. I believe I'd wrestled both of them the year before and beat one of them and lost to the other. So I got Logan Stieber winning it, though I could be swayed. I could definitely be swayed on it, but I got Stieber.
I assume you wrestled Stieber in freestyle.
It was freestyle. It was all folk style though that he won with. It was just takedowns.
Yeah. I'm interested in hearing maybe a little bit about the top game here, because we all know that Stieber was a hammer on top. How do we see that going down versus Valenti? Do we see there being a possibility of a turn here, or is Valenti able to get out?
Freshman year, I don't think he turns them. Rides them, very possible. Very possible.
All right. Well, we'll go to Jack here. Jack, what do you think?
I got Stieber as well. I don't know. I feel like I've been picking against him a lot, so I think I gotta choose him here.
All right, Earl.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it last time we talked about Matt Valenti. So he won 2 national titles and didn't get a takedown in either bout. His big move here was a reversal against Coleman. So I don't think Stieber scores from top, but I don't know if Valenti's going to be able to take him down. So I'll go Stieber.
All right, I'm gonna go Stieber as well. And Seth, finish us off.
I was actually going to lean toward Matt Valenti being a 2-time champ, a little older, a little experienced, and he had just experience winning those really close matches. He found a way to win I think it's even crazier to look at the other way. He found a way to win without getting a takedown. And I think that seniority could have been a factor, and just being a little older and just having experience there. And I think that, if it was a similar match to the JO match, Valenti maybe just had that experience to find a way to win. But I think it's a close one either way. I favor maybe Valenti a tiny bit.
All right. And we'll move down to 141 pounds, Kellen Russell of Michigan versus Derek Moore of Cal Davis. Jack, do you want to start us off with Derek Moore of Cal Davis?
Yeah, so mystery man, Derek Moore. He was a one-time All-American and a one-time champ. He beat Kyle Terry, Michael Keefe, Nathan Morgan, and then he teched the number 1 seed Ryan Lang in the finals. They were both undefeated going into that match, and everyone was super excited because they both had really fun styles. Derek Moore was scrambling and very good on top, and then Ryan Lang was unreal with scrambling and getting takedowns, and you never really knew what you were going to get from him. And so I just remember waiting for that match and being super excited for it. And then I just watched it, and I remember he teched him because I was there, and I remember that he just crushed him on top. But Ryan Lang gets a takedown and rides him for 2 minutes, and then Derek Moore reaches back and just kept on reaching back, and he eventually got it. And he got 2 reversals in the match, and then he got 1 turn off a cradle with a leg in. So he went figure 4, leg in, cradle, and then he went he would roll through the wrong way and then catch over the arm. So not a power half, but he would just have the arm, and it was weird. It wasn't a half. It looked more like a just claw, but he didn't have a claw. It It's weird. You got to go see it. But he was super long, super lanky. Cal Davis's first All-American that year, and Cal Davis's only national champ because they've dropped wrestling since then. Also, fun fact about this weight class, I had Jacob check out this match between Ryan Lang and an unseeded, no-name from NC State, Darian Caldwell. And Darian Caldwell's up 8-2 in the first minute and ends up getting pinned right after. So he took him, or Ryan Lang doubles him, and Darian Caldwell rolls through and puts him on his back, but doesn't get any back points from it. He cuts him, and then he takes him down and gets a cradle, and he doesn't get any back points from that. And then he hip tosses him. And so he's up 8-2. And then Ryan Lang submit mixes him and pins him. Minute 40. It's the craziest minute 40 in NCAA history.
I have to watch
Unreal.
that.
Yeah,
it's absolutely wild. Like it looks like two like 8-year-olds wrestling Greco for the first like minute, just like throwing each other all over the mat, and then it ends up going Lang's way. But on the other end of things, Kellen Russell from Michigan. Kellen Russell was a 3-time All-American. He placed 7th as a sophomore and then won it as a junior and senior. This is his senior year, where he won in the finals. I'm sorry, I'm losing my words here, but he won in the finals over Montel Marion this year, 6-4 in overtime. He also, on his way to the finals, took out Nick Dardanes and then Hunter Stieber to get to Montel Marion. So a pretty crazy run. And on the other end, Montel Marion took out Kendrick Maple in the other semifinals. So a lot of big names in this bracket. And, Kellen Russell had a great career. He was a 4-time Big Ten champion for the Wolverines and ended up with a career record of 134-12 career win percentages at 92%, second in program history.
So Jack, is this Derek Moore's senior year?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah, it is.
Like he shows up in the weight class, like, or in like the All-American list that I have one time, and it's as a national champ. And I went back and watched him, and I mean, he forfeited out of the 2006 NCAAs, and he was seeded 6th or 7th or something like that. And so he was there, but one-time All-American, one-time champ, and Tech fall in the finals, undefeated as well.
Wild.
I know, out of nowhere, it seems like.
Yeah, it's gotta be a crazy story behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Kellen Russell here, winning his 2nd national title. And then he won 71 of 72 matches in his final 2 years. So it's pretty unbeatable there. I'm gonna go Kellen Russell. And Jack, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Something about that Tech fall was just amazing. Like a Tech fall in the finals, he only got 1 takedown, and it wasn't the first takedown. So Ryan Lang took him down first, and then it was 17-2. I don't know. Sam, you watched him. Like, what do you got on him?
Yeah. Derek Moore kind of figured it out that year. Everybody knew top game was where he was really good. And he was dangerous from anywhere. He had a really good, I want to say it was a cradle. He cradled people all the time. But, he's a buddy of mine. And I was so pumped when he won. He kind of figured it out, found his rhythm. And he had his own style. He kind of just went about it his way. He's from Cal Davis. I mean, do they even have wrestling still? Like,
no.
He did it on his own, and he would argue with that, but it's not like he had a bunch of good guys around him, good workout partners. What he did was not unreal, but it was fun to watch. I was so pumped for him. That said, Kellen Russell was really good.
Yeah.
I think Moore beats him probably 1 or 2 in 10. He just because he'll catch him at some point, but I got to go Kellen Russell.
Yeah. All right, Earl.
Yeah, I've got to go Kellen Russell as well. There would be a good match as far as both. I think Kellen Russell's kind of underrated for his scrambling ability. Everybody knows his stout defense, but he was an excellent scrambler. He had enough offense to get it done, and I'll go with him being the more consistent track record.
All right. And Seth, what are you feeling?
I was gonna go with the mystery man over here just because that's awesome. One time AA, one time champ, cool story. But yeah, I guess it's already decided and doesn't really matter. But I guess I'll still go with Derek Moore.
Your vote still matters. Everyone's vote matters. All right, so you going Derek Moore? I know that it's technically already decided, but your vote matters. And Jack. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll second that. Y'all should definitely go watch it because it was some weird, funky stuff going on there. It kind of looked like Ryan Lang broke after the first period, just getting ridden the life out of, and eventually it was just like turn after turn after turn.
Yeah. All right. See, votes do matter. 3-2 is a really close match. But we'll move on. 149 pounds. Frank Molinaro of Penn State taking on Gregor Gillespie of Edinburgh. And just to clarify, in this match, we are not punching each other. This is purely wrestling. So that takes out a little bit of Gregor's game nowadays. But Frank Molinaro, and this year he was a senior. This is his senior campaign. He was the 1 seed. And on his way to the finals, he beat Eric Grajales in the quarterfinals and Justin Accordino in the semifinals, and then takes out Dylan Ness in the finals 4-1. Molinaro was a 2-time finalist. He finished his career at Penn State 121-29, and his senior season he did post an undefeated season at 33-0. Now the assistant coach at Arizona State. So looking forward to seeing what he does over there with the Sun Devils. But on the other end of things, Gregor Gillespie. Jack, fill us in on his college career.
Yeah, so he was 7th in 2006. He beat Philip Simpson to place in the round of 12. And then he was the champ in 2007 as the 5 seed. He beat Dan Valamont, Jordan Lean, Dustin Schlater, and Josh Torella en route to the finals. So that's incredible. He went on to have a great career after that, even being in some very, very tough weight classes. But in 2007, 5 seed, crazy route to win it.
Yeah. Wow. That's a hit list, man, on the way to the finals. That's a lot of really good wins.
Yeah.
But we'll kick it down to Sam. What do you think of this matchup here?
This one was hard for me. Gregor Gillespie, he was good. He had his own little style also. He was fun to watch. I was back. Edinburgh was starting to really come alive. However, Frank Molinaro is my man. He's my dude. I'm going Frank Molinaro. Senior year, he really got on fire, especially. And it's the tank, man. He's the Hulk. He's the guy. I'll tell you what, that guy, COVID started, and he was training at OU. And so I called him up, was like, hey, man, I'll work out with you if you need a place to work out. I've been there training for the Olympics, need a workout partner. And we trained for about a week, and then he decided to retire, and I've never been so happy. I was so happy I didn't have to work out with him anymore. He's so strong. Had a blast working out with him, so there is absolutely a bias. I hung out with that guy a lot lately. But I got Frank Molinaro, even though I need 07 to get another win here somewhere. But I got Frank.
Seth, what do you think?
I'm gonna have to second that with Frank. It was his senior year. He was tough that year. He didn't have the toughest weight class, but he did what he had to, and he had a lot of good wins throughout his career.
Yeah. I'm gonna go the other way. I can't get past this tournament, man. Cannot. Gregor Gillespie beats Dan Valamont, NCAA finalist, Jordan Lean, champ, Dustin Slater, champ. Josh Torella, NCAA finalist. I mean, literally this entire tournament, aside from his very first match, he beat an NCAA finalist or champ. Like that has to be one of the craziest routes taken to a championship of all time. I don't know. I really have to go back and look at some of these, but I'm really going to be hard pressed to find a harder path to where a dude won all the matches. I'm big Frank Molinaro fan as well, but I can't unsee this, man. I can't get past this run. And so I'm going to go Gregor Gillespie. And
did Torella never win?
No, he didn't.
Is that what he said?
Second twice.
Man, was he in the best to never win it?
No, I think we left him out.
Yeah, we left him out because
was good.
Was he second twice? I thought he was only second once.
I thought it was twice.
Was there 2 Torellas? That might be part of it too.
Ryan Torella, yeah, he was second once. He was a 3-time AA. He got 8th, 2nd, and 4th.
Okay.
How does brother do?
He got second once as well.
Lost to Hendricks, got burned.
Yeah, he was the one that,
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got 2 votes for Molinaro, 1 for Gillespie. And Jack, what do you think here?
I'm gonna go Gregor the Gift Gillespie by knockout. No, yeah, it's the route. It's got to be. I mean, Schlater was the returning national champ, and that freshman year, Schlater was unreal. I know that we've talked about how he kind of got a little worse as his career went on because of injuries and stuff. But what I remember from Dustin Schlater was that it seemed like he didn't lose, especially that freshman year, you know. Lance Palmer and JP O'Connor were also in that weight class. Yeah, give me Gillespie in that loaded 149 weight. And they went on for a span where even 2008 is considered the greatest weight class ever. But like those 4 years were just crazy. So I'll take Gregor. All
right. And we have 1 vote left. And you're going to decide it again.
How does this keep happening? So, when you introduce this, you said it's not a fist fight. And, Gillespie's a UFC fighter. But I don't think Molinaro would mind, if it was a fist fight either. Because that'd be pretty entertaining. But initially, I thought Molinaro. But you guys talking about that path, I think that swayed me. And Gillespie, I think later on in his career, he kind of had some motivational issues, if you want to call it that. And I think right now he was kind of focused in 2007. And so this version of him, I'll take.
All right. There we go. Gregor Gillespie getting the win over Frank Molinaro. And that pushes 2007's lead to 13-9 as soon as I can write it down. But we're getting into some pretty heavy hitter matches down here at the end. So we're going to see which way they lean. But 157 pounds, Kyle Dake of Cornell versus the man that we had on last episode. So Trent Paulson of Iowa State. And so looking at Kyle Dake to start off, 2012 was his junior season. It was his first undefeated season of 2 that he had. He beat Derek St. John in the finals, so eventual national champion Derek St. John. And on his way to the finals, Kyle Dake goes fall, 4-0, 4-1. And I can't remember exactly, so I might be wrong here, but I believe he wasn't scored on in this tournament until the finals when he gave up 1 point. And so really, really dominant bracket here. Some other guys in the weight: Jason Welch, James Green, Dylan Alden. There's some really good dudes on here as well. But we all know Kyle Dake, was as Jack said earlier, and in my opinion too, the GOAT of college wrestling, and won his 3rd here to set up the possibility of a 4-time national champion. And so that is Kyle Dake in 2012. And we'll kick it to Jack. Tell us about your coach, Trent Paulson.
Yeah, so this was Trent's 3rd All-American. He was 4th in 05, beating Matt Gentry, Brandon Becker, and losing to Jake Percival for 3rd. He's telling me that he got pinned, actually. It was in the 3rd period, and he was winning 1-0. and he went to pass a leg, and as he was rolling through, they called a pen, and he thinks that it's because the ref was bored of the match because nothing was happening and it was 1-0. He's like, he remembers being so pissed about it. But yeah, that was interesting. I was asking about him, Jake Percival, whenever we were doing the best to never win it. That's the story he gave me. So then he was 4th in 06. He was the 1 seed, losing to Joe Johnston in the quarters, someone who Trent had never lost to before. So he was like 5-0, 6-0 against him. And then he said that he just was trying not to lose and instead of trying to win and protecting that number 1 seed, whatever. And so he got beat in the quarters, and then he came back and got 4th. And then he was the champ in 07, beating 4 of the All-Americans en route. So he beat the Ryan Flushak, the guy from Drexel, who was unseeded. He ended up becoming an All-American. And then Josh Zupancic, who was also an All-American that year. And then he dominated Mike Poeta in the semis. And then he beat Craig Henning in the finals, who was like a lanky guy who was the 7th seed who came in and upset Brian Stith in the quarters, who was pretty good. Yeah, so that was Trent.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good matchup here. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off and go Kyle Dake. There's not many people that I'm gonna vote against Kyle Dake for. There really isn't. And the thing that I remember that sticks out about this year too is in the finals when he won. It was in the 3rd period, and he got poked in the eye by St. John. And I remember I was always a big Iowa fan growing up, huge Iowa fan. But this was like the only time I've ever kind of been embarrassed to be an Iowa fan because St. Dake got poked in the eye. There's like 30 seconds left. He's up 4-1, and he's just kind of trying to stay away from him because he can't see. And the entire arena, not arena, but every single Iowa fan in the arena is just booing, like just crazy loud boo coming. And I thought that was kind of a, in bad taste for my thought, but Kyle Dake ended up winning it. And like I said, I got Kyle Dake in this matchup, and I will kick it to somebody else to talk. So Seth, what do you think?
I got Kyle Dake too here. He had a really good season that year. And yeah, I think that there's nobody I'm really choosing against Kyle Dake outside of Jordan Burroughs. So taking Kyle Dake.
I don't even pick Jordan Burroughs outside of Kyle Dake. But
didn't you pick Jordan Oliver over Kyle Dake?
Did I? Oh yeah.
All right. All right. Signing off. Gone. But Sam, what do you think about this matchup?
I got Kyle Dake. Paulsons, though, I wrestled them my whole life. Used to see them at Little League tournaments all the time. Actually wrestled one of them. I don't know if it was trainer Travis in like 3rd grade at Tulsa Nationals. They got me. They got me that time. But yeah, I grew up with those guys and great guys, but Kyle Dake.
All right. And Earl.
Yeah, man, I picked against Kyle Dake twice earlier, so I can't do it again. I'll take him here.
What's wrong with people picking against Kyle Dake? I just don't get it. Jack.
I gotta go Trent. Biased for sure, but he also beat him in freestyle this year in 2012. So they're like 1-1 against each other in freestyle. I'll take Trent. Yeah, you guys got to go back and watch that Poeta thing. I think Trent should have been a 2-time NCAA champ. He had a brain fart against Johnson in the quarters the year before, but he's really good on top. You want to learn a good mat return, go watch him mat return Mike Poeta about 1,000 times that match. So, yeah.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that'll get us down to our last 2 matches that are going to be insane. 165 pounds, Hodge Trophy winner David Taylor versus Mark Perry of Iowa. This is the year Mark Perry beat Johnny Hendricks. So Jack, tell us a little bit more about that year for Mark Perry.
Yeah, so he was a runner-up in 05, beating Tyron Woodley and Troy Letters, but losing to Johnny Hendricks in the finals. And then he bumped up to 174 the next year and got 3rd, losing to Jake Herbert. in the semis and beating Mike Petrovich for third. And then he was the champ in 07, back down at 165, beating Deontay Penn, Mike Petrovich, and then Johnny Hendricks in the finals.
Yeah. I actually watched that match the other day. And it was a good match. It was really exciting to watch Mark Perry get those back points at the end to win. Really entertaining. If you want to watch an entertaining wrestling match, I definitely go back and watch that one. But on the other end of things, David Taylor, one of the best to ever do it. At this point, this is his sophomore campaign. And after getting pinned in the finals as a freshman when he was undefeated, dude just went on a rampage and destroyed everyone he came in contact with basically the entire year. And in the tournament, I know that he ended it off with a tech fall in the finals, 22-7. But before that, on his way to the finals, he had 4 pins. He pinned every single person on his way to the finals. I mean, and Robert Kokesh, I can't pronounce the name of the guy in the semis from Clarion. Is it Begzad?
Abdurakhmanov?
Yes. Thank you. But yeah, David Taylor pinned everyone on the way to the finals, 22-7 win in the finals. And if we're being honest here, I think he probably could have got a pin in the finals too. In my opinion, he might have been kind of soaking it in a little bit and enjoying his time in the finals. But easy Hodge win here for David Taylor. Just crazy dominant season. I mean, there's not many people that have gotten a tech fall in the finals. Obviously, we talked about Derek Moore earlier. Another one that comes to mind is Mitch Clark back in the day for Ohio State. But says something to me to win by 15 points in the national finals.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Derek Moore did that Mitch Clark and David Taylor didn't do was Brian Ling was undefeated at that point and the 1 seed. Yeah. I mean, David Taylor and Mitch Clark were heavy favorites when they did it. So I think that's what makes that finals match like just so weird. Just amazing but weird at the same time.
For sure. Yeah. I'll kick it off though. I'm going David Taylor. He was probably one of the most prolific scorers in the history of college wrestling. And I don't even think it's close here. I'm going to offer up a major decision here for David Taylor.
No way.
Absolutely. This is
2007. Mark Perry wasn't going to lose to many people, if anyone. I mean, I'm taking time to think about it. I'm going to let y'all go because I think y'all end up choosing David Taylor. But Mark Perry, 2007, like, had a bad blood, man. He was going to get that national title if it killed him. I don't think that there were many people that were going to beat him.
David Taylor's one of them.
I don't know. It's just like, who? I don't know. David Taylor. Taylor. Okay. David Taylor didn't have a single 3-time All-American or 4-time All-American in his weight class. It was one of the weaker weight classes of all time.
Pin, tech.
They're still super weak. Like there wasn't even a 3-time All-American in there.
Pin, tech.
I don't know. I'm going Mark Perry.
Oh my Lord. No way.
Yeah, dude.
No.
He was not going to lose. When I say that his life was on the line in this match, it was on the line in this match. You go back and watch that Perry documentary, this dude was suffering until he won this national title. I mean, David Taylor's weight class was super weak. Super weak.
All right. Well, let's kick to somebody else before I come through this screen at you. Seth, tell us, what do you think?
I'm still debating here, man. Pass it on to somebody else. I got Jack's giving me second thoughts out here.
Oh.
I made a good argument, didn't I?
Whatever. Earl, what do you think?
Man, it would be fun just to crush Jacob and pick Perry just for the hell of it. But
Jesus.
I don't know, man. I can't go against Taylor. I acknowledge, the competition was, definitely not the same, but Taylor was just amazing this year. I'm going with him. I'm not going to go major, but I'll go Taylor.
I'm going Mark Perry then. Put it on Sam. Pushing.
Yeah. What up?
Dude, you guys suck. All right, Mark Perry was losing 95% of that finals match.
Yeah, but Johnny
win,
Hendricks
though?
was like one of the best to
Sure,
do it
he
at that
won.
point.
Yeah, did Johnny win it 2 or 3 times?
2 times.
Is he only a
Twice.
2-timer?
Yeah.
He was going for his third.
He's going for his third.
Yeah, I don't think many people thought Perry was going to win that day. I will say I got a win over Mark Perry back in like 8th grade.
Nice.
Oklahoma Open, and Uncle John Smith was in his corner. So that was like the biggest thing of my young career. Got a win with John Smith in the corner. I was pumped up.
Did you flex on him?
I did not. He's
Missed opportunity.
Kind of, close to a god in Oklahoma. You know, I was very politely shaking his hand and hoping he didn't hit a high crotch on me as a little.
Oh man.
Mark Perry did the unthinkable that year. That said, I got David Taylor also.
Ooh.
Smart man.
Made them to me. I know. But I got David Taylor.
All right. David Taylor. Bonus points here?
No.
No, come on.
It's a hard no.
Trying.
A hard no.
Dude, no, come on. Tech fall in the finals and
A tech fall against the
bro,
11th seed in the
who?
finals.
whatever. Mark Perry was 1-7 against Johnny Hendricks.
But he won when he needed to.
He won it this year.
Back.
This Mark Perry beat that Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah. How many
You
times
got
did
to
they
take
wrestle
that
year?
one time. You got to take it because that's who we are looking at. Mark Perry was not going to lose, and
until he hit David Taylor today.
I'll give it up to the Perrys. Both of them I thought would lose in their last finals, and they both won. These guys found a way to win. They were good at it.
All right. Well, last match of the duel, and the duel is actually 15-13 right now for 2012. But last match of the duel, we're coming down to Ed Ruth versus Ben Askren. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath. Jack, Ben Askren, 2007. Tell us.
Oh, yeah. So this was his senior year. 4-time finalist. He was a runner-up in 2004, beating Brad Dillon and Tyler Nix before losing to Pendleton. And then he was a runner-up in 2005, beating Pete Friedel before losing to Pendleton. He's champ in 2006, beating Patrovich and Herbert. And then champ in 2007, beating Eric Ludke and Keith Gavin in route.
All right. And on the other end of things, Edmund Ruth. This year was the 1 seed. This is his junior campaign. On his way to the finals, he beat Nick Heflin 11-4, Logan Storley 17-1 with a tech fall in the semifinals, and then in the finals 13-2 over Nick Amuchastegui. Wow, like 11-point win in the finals. That's pretty crazy as well. But some really, really good dudes in this bracket. Chris Perry was actually the 2 seed before he got taken out by Amuchastegui in the semifinals. Jimmy Sheptock, Lofthouse, Heflin, like I said. I mean, there's a bunch of good guys in this bracket. And Ed Ruth was just a man among boys at this point. Like it was definitely a next topic situation. There wasn't anybody that was going to get in his way. And he wins his second national title of 3. So we'll kick it over, and we're going to go with Sam first because we made you go last time. So, Sam, what do you think about this?
Perfect. Man, it's Ben Askren all day. I think he pins him, but I don't think it matters because it's for the win. 07's going to win. I didn't think they were going to win. I had 12 winning. I'm pumped. 07's going to win this duel. It's Ben Askren. He started a whole style of wrestling. Like, not very many people I know have done that. I don't know if anybody else in my time has done that. He had 91 pins in college. He was, I want to say 19 pins that year. Beat Jake Herbert in the finals, like 12-2. Is that what it was? Who went on to win a silver medal in the Olympics?
Yeah.
How do you not go with the Funk Ben Askren?
Yep, I'm 100% on board with that. 100% on board.
Can we all agree that no matter what, there is the possibility of a pin on the table for both of these dudes?
I don't think Ben
getting
Askren
pinned,
gets
bro.
pinned.
I don't think Ben ever got pinned.
No, he
But
ain't
Ed
getting
Ruth,
pinned.
man, that
Ben
cradle.
Askren had like over 90 pins. That's crazy. That is absolutely
It's
absurd.
insane.
But also, obviously you listen to FRL and he talks about going to all these little opens and pinning everybody to pad his stats. So you got to take it with a grain of salt here too.
But still, I didn't even have 90 matches in my career because I got held back because the weight. But there's only a few guys that have revolutionized the sport like him. I think John Smith, Ben Askren. I don't know who
There
else.
was a time when I didn't care for Ben, but and I like Ed Ruth, but Ben Askren wins, man. He wins it. I remember when he first started and the funk was everywhere at all my camps. Well, can you teach the funk? I'm like, it's called the funk. You can't, no, I can't teach it. And then kept evolving. And it's like, listen, guys, you're not Ben Askren. He knows what he's doing. He's not just rolling to roll. Like, he's got a game plan. He's setting them up. He knows how they're going to react. And no, I can't teach it. I don't do the roll. And now, everybody does it. And there's people have started to figure out there's moves. There's a reason when to roll, which way to roll, how to finish the roll. That wasn't done before Ben Askren. People would every now and then dive for an ankle to try to get a stalemate, but there wasn't. They had to change the rule. People got so good at it, they had to add in a 3 count, so people couldn't just stalemate it. And Ben's Ben, but you got to go Ben.
I'll go Ben.
All right.
07 champs.
Ed Ruth, knee to the face. No, I'm just kidding.
That would do it.
Earl, what do you think?
Yeah, you mentioned Ben trying to pad his stats. He had a stretch his senior year, I think, where he pinned 18 or 19 straight guys.
Dude,
that's like his favorite stat.
19.
And 5 of those guys were either All-Americans already or went on to be All-Americans. So, they were legit. I think it was between the Scuffle and Cliff Keen. He pinned all those guys. So, that was
Chasing Gable,
tournament.
right?
Yeah.
Gable was 24 in a row, I think. And so he was right there. 24, 25 in a row. He was chasing Gable.
Yeah. But before we started, I said to Jack, I'm partial to 07 because this was the first NCAA tournament that I attended. So,
awesome.
I love all the guys from this year, but I don't see anybody beating Ben Askren.
Yeah, especially senior year and Ben Askren.
Add Bod.
Wow. Jack, what do you think? What do you got?
Yeah, I said Askren.
Okay. I'm gonna go Askren as well. I agree. Just revolutionize the sport, and this is a match that I would kill to see this match. This would be a really cool match to watch. But Ben Askren moves on for us in our virtual duel. So Ben Askren wins the match for 2007, and it looks like that major decision that we started out with, that was the difference in the duel. So Jake Herbert, he was following us on Facebook, and if he listens into this, Jake Herbert, you're the man, and you're the reason 2007 got it done. And so
this is the first upset we've had, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is the first upset of the duel. The 10 seed, 2007 takes out the 7 seed. Man. So that's going to wrap it up for us here. 2007 moves on, and they will be taking on the 2 seed 2013 next. And we're just so glad that we we're able to get on and do this, man. Having a lot of fun with this. Really glad that we got Sam on. I thought it was cool that we could bring him on, kind of a surprise, because nobody else knew that you were coming, Sam, and I thought that would be pretty cool.
I wish I could have listened to what was going on. I need a techie over here. Making out a second screen on.
Oh, no worries. No worries, man.
It was a blast. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Man.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks
I
for
enjoy
coming.
listening to these. It's fun throwback.
it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Home Mat Advantage Fantasy Wrestling Podcast. We will be right back at it with our next matchups being 2014 versus 2004 and 2017 versus 2019 to round out the first round before we get to the quarterfinals. So thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
All right.
There we go. That's